Martin Phillips, one of the show's greatest golden ticket winners, got the show started and quickly put Rawlings to bed with just one short sentence.
Hey, Darnell, how about you take a walk?
Shortly after being buried, Rawlings gave praise to Phillips and showed signs of growth because instead of crashing out, he recognized the bit, admired it, and moved on.
I know it's not easy to come up here to deal with the things that you deal with life and still want to put a smile on people's face and have a good time. But I respect that. I see it in your face, and I can just tell how hard you go. So hats off to you.
Good job. Fuck yeah.
One of the better pulls from the bucket was Mr. James Carrigan, who was admittedly drunk but still delivered what was one of the better minutes of the night. Carrigan was so drunk that Tony decided to do a segment called DUI Checkpoint, bringing out a real police officer in the process. This was arguably one of the funniest parts of the episode.
Is there any police officers here by any chance? Can we get a police officer up here? Yeah! This is Oscar, everybody. Yes. Yeah. James, he asked you a fucking question.
How much have you had to drink tonight?
2 drinks.
Honest. Just not specific. The specificity of the officer's question opened up some vagaries. Advantage, James. Continue.
Where are you headed to?
I'm just going home. That's all I'm doing.
Oh, yeah. Such a suspicious answer.
I just have to say, this may seem racist-y. If you're drinking tonight, we should still arrest Donnell.
I'm going to move my finger from left to right. Keep your head still. You understand?
Oh, shit. What do you think, Oscar? What's the verdict?
Oh, yeah. Please go to jail.
Jim Tele, who had a real smooth 60 seconds on the same premise throughout, just finding different angles to make it funny. In his interview, he revealed that he was preparing for a future as an actor, and he dished out some voices. His British accent was pretty impressive, however, his African one was probably his best.
Here is Tony. A gay man.
You know what? I changed my mind. You're under arrest. You son of a bitch.
Who me?
No, don't do Martin.
Tony attempted to get more out of Tele, asking him standard questions like, have you ever had a near-death experience and what scares you? The former didn't draw anything interesting out of Tele, but the latter definitely kept him on stage for a little bit longer.
What scares you? What are you afraid of? What
Knives.
Knives? Tell me more about knives.
I'm scared of knives because I got circumcised in Africa when I was 16.
Whoa, an African circumcision.
That sounds like the near-death experience.
They use a knife, a regular knife, on 16-year-old Africans when they need like a samurai sword or something like that?
Nah, more like a machete. My dad actually got his cut with his machete.
Really?
Because, like, I did my shit in the
Same
hospital.
time?
Tripp Callahan was the next great bucket pull, the fourth of the night. When you see your typical white dude in shorts on Kill Tony, more often than not, they bomb. Not Tripp, though. Callahan approached the stage with a set that seemed to be perfectly curated for a Kill Tony audience, sprinkling in racist and trans jokes that aren't only funny, but are well-crafted and observational.
I saw Target. They got in trouble for selling tuck-friendly bikinis to children. At first, I thought it was weird, but then I realized it was probably even more weird to be against it. If your son's wearing a bikini, then I want to see the cock, you know? Like, for example, a white lab, that's a great dog. A black lab's also a great dog. But a Chinese lab, that will shut down the world economy.
Unfortunately, his interview just wasn't that interesting. Mostly talking about him working at Kill Tony's favorite place, HEB. The best part of his interview was a random funny shoplifting story from Red Band.
What did
the
you
most
shop?
embarrassing thing I ever. A Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack and one of the Paulo Abdul albums.
Hank Garza also got pulled from the bucket and gave a solid minute from what was a overall great bucket on the night and was one of his best sets he's ever done on the show.
I believe that a lot of us in here are not racist, but our algorithms are. Anybody else see that one post about that one group of people and you're just like. The hardest part about me dating is actually, it's not even the wife and kids that I have at home. It's actually the sleep apnea machine. You know how fucked up it is when you have to take down the hose to go see the hose?
Matt Rivera was the third bucket pull of the night, and he's been on several times before, and this was the best minute from him by far. He discussed the absurdity of having a 2-year-old uncle and discussed some similarities his toddler uncle has with the rest of his uncles. A pretty simple yet hilarious premise that got the most laughs in the room up to this point. Rivera himself didn't have a great interview, but him talking about having diabetes really opened the door for the first real character moments from Triple H and Carrot Top. Red Band and Tony also had a fun riff during this moment. This was probably the hardest I laughed during the show.
You went to the happiest place on earth to get your diabetes test? That's a goofy decision.
I didn't go there.
Yeah, you're gonna lose a foot. Your parents have a great sense of humor. Let's take them to Disney. It'll soften the blow.
I just want to know, how the fuck does that even happen when you go to Disney? How do you find out that you have diabetes? Where people ask you the next day, how was Disney? Fuck, I got diabetes. Yeah, but it doesn't come with like an alarm when you eat it that says, fuck, you just got diabetes. Like, how did that come about?
You guys have a new diet plan? What changed?
They don't go to fucking Disney anymore.
That's for sure. You don't want to get double diabetes.
Are you wearing a skirt?
No, it's shorts. They're shorts.
Of all the shit right here, that's what you picked up?
Yeah. That's fuck. Yeah. No, it's your shorts.
This fun interview, paired with an excellent minute, gave Rivera a secret show invite. You love to see it for a guy who said he produces shows every day, and you can tell from his reaction to that it meant a lot to him. Golden Ticket winner Collin Sledge. I truly think Sledge is one of the best performers on the show at the moment. He's been consistent in his craft and truly has never had a dull 60 seconds. Typically, Sledge is one to use self-deprecating humor during his minute, but not this time around. He rapid-fired several jokes, including a great one-liner to start.
I need a paralegal titties to suck on. I feel like the check engine light has very feminine energy, you know? It's like, something's wrong. What's wrong? Well, if you cared, you would already know. My girlfriend thinks The Godfather is too long, but her story about when her coworker was bitchy to her 2 years ago is the perfect length.
Although Sledge didn't touch on his eerie demeanor during his set, it was hard to avoid during the interview, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's one of the things that gives his persona a bit of a likability factor. At one point, Tony pointed out that some people are good at the set and bad at the interview, and Sledge might just be one of those people. And one of the things that makes Sledge so good is that he took this as a challenge and came up with a bit and proved Tony wrong, making the crowd laugh.
You are one of those great at the set, and then it's like talking to a giant 5-year-old.
I went to the sex museum. It made me never want to have sex again.
Why?
Because it was gross. It was weird. I did a 4D thing where like the chairs are rocking and it sprayed water in my face. I think you go into a pussy and it sprays water in your face.
There it is. That's how it goes.
Should I have opened with that?
The interview wasn't necessarily awkward because of Sledge. I would argue that Tony made it awkward and didn't play to Collin's persona. Every time that Sledge is on, I always end up hoping that we see him more often. Hopefully he gets more spots in the near future. Isaac Kane Brown also had a killer set from the bucket. He fired off multiple jokes, all with really unique premises and perspectives. His minute was also one of the made for Kill Tony sets that I've talked about a million times before, but this one is one of the cleanest examples of it.
I think we should start thanking the spouses of veterans for their service. I mean, could you imagine hearing a firework and just getting the shit kicked out of you? Fun fact, I don't know if you guys know this, Hennessy is made from grapes. That's like light beer being made from ranch. You know exactly who's drinking it. Autocorrect can be confusing. For 3 months, I thought my dad was scared of ninjas. Why would ninjas have pit bulls?
Wow.
Staying in the same vein as O'Neal, Brown did a great job staying in the pocket, rolling with the punches, and staying interesting throughout his interview. I feel like he was robbed of a secret show invite.
Well, you attacked the armed forces, but you were of the...
What?
No?
What did he say?
You said something nasty about the army.
Is that true?
You said, fuck the troops.
Yeah.
But you were the troops.
Yeah.
Did you not get along with the troops?
The only reason you joined is because you got C's in high school.
Is that why you joined?
Yeah.
What do you think about CEOs of healthcare companies?
Colt McNeely to open the show. McNeely is a member of the Kill Tony production team, and I do believe he's been on the show once or twice before. McNeely made the most out of his opportunity and delivered a solid made-for-Kill Tony minute. He had the confidence of a comedy veteran, and his tag of "thanks for coming out" was a fun little laughter trigger that helped out even if the jokes weren't working. That's not to say he didn't have some good bits in here. I really enjoyed his Antifa and bartender jokes.
You know, I miss when Antifa was just my black friend's cool aunt. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Thanks for coming out, guys. But I hear a lot of good things about gay bars. I heard they pour heavier drinks than they do at straight bars. I think it's because the bartenders are pouring the drinks like this.
During his interview, he got to show off his yo-yo ability, something the panel dunked on, but it turns out the guy can yo-yo like a motherfucker. Tony told him 10 minutes before showtime not to suck, and he did not let him down. I wouldn't mind seeing more of Colt McNeely in the future.
Unbelievable.
My God. Thank you for coming out, for real.
Thank you for coming out.
JP Hinsdale finally ended the drought. His last time on stage was one of his worst minutes ever, but this time he returned back to his roots. His shy and awkward delivery made you root for him as he went through his rather sad material. The embodiment of the spice monster from Chowder had a great redemption set here. Every time Hinsdale is on the show, he says or does something that just makes you feel for him. This time he was discussing not going to the doctor due to not having health insurance when he got an infection in his leg. They also weighed him for the second time on the show, and he had gained 15 pounds to 445 pounds. What was a hot start for Hinsdale just turned sad, as this young promising comedian is just all sorts of unhealthy. Hopefully he gets better soon. Don't forget to check the links down below as well. You can like me on Facebook at Tripp Talks, follow me on Twitter at Tripp Talks, or follow me on Instagram at Trey Vaughn Pixley. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day.